The lawyer's office smelled like expensive leather and broken promises. I sat across from my mother, watching her hands tremble as she held the envelope I'd just given her. Inside was a document that would change everything. A document that proved, in black and white, that I'd been erased from my family for 28 years. And in exactly 48 hours, my sister Rebecca would stand at a podium accepting an award in my name. An award I'd actually earned. An award she'd stolen. An award that would make her the youngest partner in the firm's history. Unless I stopped her. My name is Charlotte Hayes, and this is the story of how I became invisible in my own family and what I did the day I decided to be seen. I need to take you back to understand how we got here, back to a time when I still believed that hard work mattered more than being born first. Rebecca and I grew up in Westchester, in one of those picture-perfect colonial houses with the manicured lawn and the golden retriever. From the outside, we looked like the American dream. Doctor father, lawyer mother, 2 daughters destined for greatness. But inside those walls there was a hierarchy, and I wasn't at the top. Rebecca was born first, 3 years before me. And in those 3 years, she'd apparently secured every ounce of my parents' capacity to love, to notice, to care. By the time I arrived, there was nothing left but the performance of parenting. The mechanics without the emotion. I don't remember a time when I wasn't trying to catch up to her shadow. When Rebecca got straight A's, Mom framed her report card. When I got straight A's, Dad said, "Good, that's expected." When Rebecca made the debate team, they drove 4 hours to watch her compete, filming every moment. When I made captain of the debate team 2 years later, they said they'd try to make it to finals. They didn't. I kept a journal documenting it all, not because I was petty, but because I needed proof that I wasn't crazy, that the difference was real. Page after page of comparisons. Rebecca's high school graduation meant a backyard party with 100 guests, a professional photographer, and the gift of a car. My high school graduation meant dinner at Olive Garden with 6 people, a gift card to Target, and Rebecca couldn't make it because she had a date. I told myself it would get better. That once we were adults, once we'd both left home and built our own lives, things would balance out. I was wrong. Rebecca and I both went into law, not because I wanted to follow her, but because I loved it. The precision, the arguments, the search for truth and justice. I was good at it. Really good. I graduated top of my class from Columbia. Rebecca had graduated middle of her class from Georgetown, but somehow, when we both applied to Morrison & Associates, the most prestigious corporate law firm in Manhattan, Rebecca got in first. She'd started 3 years before me. By the time I was hired, she'd already made senior associate. We worked in different departments. She did mergers and acquisitions. I did intellectual property litigation. We rarely crossed paths professionally. That was fine with me. At work, I could be Charlotte Hayes, the brilliant IP attorney with a 94% win rate. Not Charlotte Hayes, Rebecca's little sister, the one who was never quite enough. For 5 years, I buried myself in work, 70, 80-hour weeks. I took the cases nobody wanted. The complicated, messy, years-long patent disputes that required obsessive attention to detail. I won cases that made the firm millions. I brought in new clients. I published articles in law journals. I built a reputation brick by brick. And then the Harrington case landed on my desk. Harrington Tech was a small startup that had developed revolutionary AI software for medical diagnostics. A massive pharmaceutical company, Grayson Industries, had stolen their code, buried it in their own product, and launched it as their own innovation. It was a David versus Goliath case. Most firms wouldn't touch it. Too risky, too expensive, too time-consuming. But I saw something in it. I saw the truth, and I saw a way to win. I spent 14 months on that case. 14 months of 16-hour days, combing through millions of lines of code, deposing 37 witnesses, building an airtight argument that proved, beyond any doubt, that Grayson had committed corporate theft. I didn't sleep for more than 4 hours a night for over a year. My husband, Daniel, barely saw me. I missed birthdays, anniversaries, weekends. Everything went into Harrington. The trial lasted 6 weeks. I presented 412 pieces of evidence. I gave a closing argument that made 2 jurors cry. We won. Not just won, obliterated them. The jury awarded Harrington Tech $340 million in damages, the largest intellectual property verdict in the state's history. The day the verdict came in, the entire firm celebrated. Partners I'd never spoken to shook my hand. The managing partner, Charles Morrison himself, called me into his office. "Charlotte," he said, "this is the kind of work that defines a career. This is partnership material. We'll be making announcements at the annual gala in 3 months. I think you should prepare yourself." I floated home that night, called Daniel from the car, crying happy tears. He met me at the door with champagne and flowers. "You did it," he said. "You actually did it." For the first time in my entire life, I felt like I'd stepped out of Rebecca's shadow. This was mine. My case, my win, my achievement. Something she couldn't claim or share or diminish. I called my parents that night. Dad answered. I could hear the TV in the background. "Dad, I won. The Harrington case. $340 million. The firm's talking about making me partner." "That's nice, honey," he said, distracted. "Hey, did Rebecca tell you? She's being considered for partner too. Something about a big merger she facilitated. We're so proud of her." I stood in my kitchen, phone pressed to my ear, listening to him talk about Rebecca's accomplishments for 15 minutes before he remembered I was on the line. "Anyway, congrats on your thing too, Charlotte. Gotta go. Game's starting." He hung up. I stood there holding the phone, staring at nothing. Daniel found me 20 minutes later, still frozen in the same spot. "What happened?" he asked. "Nothing," I said. "Absolutely nothing happened. Same as always." 3 months later, the firm held its annual gala at the Plaza. Black tie, 500 guests, the full spectacle. This was where they'd announce the new partners. I bought a dress I couldn't afford, got my hair done professionally. Daniel wore his best suit. We arrived early, buzzing with anticipation. Rebecca was there with her husband, Marcus. She looked stunning, as always, effortless in a way I'd never managed to achieve. She hugged me when she saw me. "Big night," she said, smiling. "Nervous?" "A little," I admitted. "You?" "Not really," she said. "Whatever happens, happens." I envied that. Her ease, her confidence, the way she moved through the world like it owed her good things. The dinner was endless. 7 courses, each more elaborate than the last. I barely tasted any of it. My stomach was in knots. Finally, Charles Morrison took the stage. "Tonight," he began, "we recognize excellence. We celebrate those among us who embody the values of Morrison and Associates: dedication, brilliance, and results." He talked about the firm's history, its values, its future. Then he got to the announcement. "This year, we're proud to announce not 1, but 2 new partners. Both are extraordinary attorneys who have brought tremendous value to this firm." My heart hammered. Our first new partner has achieved something remarkable this year, a landmark victory in intellectual property litigation that has set precedent and brought significant recognition to our firm. That was me. He was describing my case. The Harrington case. I gripped Daniel's hand under the table. This attorney spent over a year building an airtight case against one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the country and won a $340 million verdict, the largest in state history for IP theft. I could barely breathe. "Please join me in congratulating our newest partner, Rebecca Hayes." The room erupted in applause. I froze halfway out of my chair. Daniel's hand tightened on mine. Rebecca stood, smiling, gracious, walking to the stage while everyone clapped. I sat back down slowly. This had to be a mistake. He'd said 2 partners. He'd described my case, my work, but he'd said Rebecca's name. I watched her take the stage, shake Charles Morrison's hand, accept a crystal trophy. She gave a short speech about dedication and teamwork and the honor of working at such a prestigious firm. Not once did she mention my name. Not once did she mention that she'd had nothing to do with the Harrington case. Charles Morrison spoke again. Our second new partner has shown exceptional skill in facilitating complex corporate mergers, bringing in over $50 million in fees this year. Please welcome Thomas Chen as partner. Thomas Chen, not me. The applause continued. People congratulated him. The celebration went on. I sat there, frozen, trying to understand what had just happened. Daniel leaned close. There's been a mistake. We need to talk to someone. But I knew it wasn't a mistake. I watched Rebecca across the room, surrounded by congratulations, holding her trophy, radiant with success. And I understood. I should have confronted her that night, should have made a scene, demanded answers, forced the truth into the light. But I didn't. I went home. I cried until I couldn't breathe. And then I went to the office at 3 a.m. and started digging. Internal emails, case assignments, credit attributions, billing records. I went back through every document related to the Harrington case, every filing, every brief, every motion. My name was on all of them. Charlotte Hayes, lead attorney. But when I pulled up the internal case summary that had been submitted to the partnership committee, the one that determined who got credit for what, I found something different. The lead attorney was listed as Rebecca Hayes. There was a note attached, dated 8 months prior. Rebecca Hayes requested transfer to IP department to lead Harrington case. Transfer approved. Charlotte Hayes to support as junior attorney. I'd never transferred to support. I'd never been junior on this case. This was my case from day one, but someone had changed the records. I kept digging, found emails I'd never seen, communications between Rebecca and Charles Morrison. Rebecca positioning herself as the primary strategist on Harrington. Rebecca in meetings I'd never been invited to, presenting her strategy, her approach, her work. She'd been stealing credit for 14 months, and I'd never noticed because I'd been too busy actually doing the work. I found more. Other cases I'd worked on over the years, smaller victories that had somehow ended up attributed to Rebecca in internal reviews, not completely erased, but minimized. Charlotte assisted Rebecca on the Anderson case. Charlotte supported Rebecca's strategy in Miller versus Tech Dynamics. 5 years of my career, quietly rewritten with her as the star and me as the supporting character. I sat in my dark office, surrounded by evidence, and felt something crack open inside me. This wasn't new. This was the pattern of my entire life. Rebecca taking credit. Rebecca being celebrated. Rebecca getting everything while I got the leftovers. And everyone just letting it happen. I walked into Rebecca's office at 9 a.m. the next day. She looked up from her computer, surprised. Charlotte, congratulations on the Harrington case. You did amazing work as my second chair. Second chair? I closed the door behind me. I was never your second chair, Rebecca. That was my case, my work. You were in mergers. You had nothing to do with IP. She blinked. That's not true. I transferred to IP specifically to lead Harrington. You were supporting me. Show me the transfer paperwork. What? Show me the official transfer documents. Show me the case assignment that put you in charge. She shifted in her chair. Charlotte, I don't have time for this. I have meetings all morning. We can talk later if you're confused about the case structure. I'm not confused. You stole my work. You changed internal records to make it look like you led the case when you did nothing. You took credit for 14 months of my life. Her expression changed, hardened. The warm, sisterly facade dropped. That's a serious accusation, she said quietly. One I'd be careful making without proof. I have proof. Emails, original case files, billing records, all of it with my name as lead attorney. Internal documents can be messy, she said smoothly. Things get misfiled. What matters is what the partnership committee reviewed, and they were very clear about who led Harrington. You manipulated those records. She stood up, walked to her window, looked out over Manhattan. Charlotte, she said, her voice taking on a tone I'd heard before. The same tone Mom used when she was explaining why Rebecca got something I didn't. Patient, condescending, final. You're a good attorney. You really are. But leadership isn't just about doing the work. It's about vision, strategy, relationships, things you've never really excelled at. I had all of that on Harrington. I built that case from nothing. You built the foundation. I provided the direction. You weren't even in the courtroom. She turned to face me. I was in the strategy sessions. I was in the meetings with Morrison. I was managing the bigger picture while you were buried in details. That's what leadership is. I stared at her. She actually believed this. She'd rewritten history so thoroughly in her own mind that she genuinely thought she'd led the case. Did you do this because you couldn't achieve partnership on your own merit? I asked quietly. Because your merger work wasn't enough? Her jaw tightened. Get out of my office. Did you do this because it's what you've always done? Take credit for everything around you because you've never actually had to work for anything in your life? Charlotte, leave. Now. Or is it because even you know that mom and dad's golden child act only works at home? That in the real world, you're average and you can't stand it? She picked up her phone. I'm calling security. Call them. I'm going to Charles Morrison next. I'm showing him everything. She paused, phone in hand. Do that and you'll destroy your own career. You'll look like a bitter associate who can't handle someone else's success. You'll be blacklisted from every firm in the city. You stole my work. I collaborated with you. There's a difference. And only one of us just made partner with the authority to back up their version of events. She was right. She knew she was right. I left her office shaking with rage. I spent the next week trying to do the right thing. I went to Charles Morrison with my evidence. He listened politely, looked through some of the documents, and then gave me the same sympathetic smile I'd seen 1,000 times. Charlotte, I understand there might be some confusion about case attribution. These complex matters often involve many contributors. Rebecca provided excellent strategic leadership on Harrington, which is why the partnership committee recognized her work. Your contributions were certainly valuable as well. I was the lead attorney. Every court filing has my name. Lead attorney on execution, yes. Rebecca was lead on strategy and client relations. Both are important, but the partnership committee weighs certain skills more heavily. She changed internal records to erase my role. His expression shifted. Not concern, annoyance. That's a serious allegation. One that could constitute defamation if you pursue it without substantial proof. I'd hate to see a promising career derailed by sour grapes over a partnership decision. The threat was clear. I went to HR. They opened an investigation. 3 weeks later, they closed it. Insufficient evidence of wrongdoing. Appears to be a difference of perception regarding role definition and case leadership. I told my parents, called them one night, laid out everything that had happened. Mom listened quietly. Then she said, Honey, are you sure you're not being a little oversensitive? Rebecca has always been very driven. Maybe she just worked harder on the partnership aspect. She stole my work, Mom. That's a very harsh way to describe a collaborative professional environment. Have you considered that maybe Rebecca is just better at navigating office politics? That's a skill too, you know. Are you serious right now? I'm just saying, Charlotte, you've always had a tendency to feel overlooked. Sometimes that makes you see slights that aren't really there. I hung up, called Dad separately. He was more direct. These things happen in competitive environments. Maybe this is a sign you should focus on being an excellent senior associate instead of reaching for something that might not be the right fit. Being a partner isn't the right fit? After I just won the biggest case in firm history? Rebecca's the partner now, sweetie. Maybe you should try to be happy for your sister instead of tearing her down. I hung up on him too. That night, I told Daniel I was done. Done trying, done fighting, done caring. I'm going to find another firm, I said. Start over somewhere Rebecca's name doesn't already own the narrative. Daniel looked at me carefully. Or, he said slowly, you could do something else. Like what? Like make sure the truth comes out in a way they can't ignore. I tried that. Nobody cares. Not inside the firm, outside. I looked at him. What are you suggesting? Rebecca's giving the keynote at the National IP Law Conference next month. She's being awarded the Rising Star Prize for her work on Harrington. I'd forgotten about that. The Rising Star Award, given to one attorney under 40 each year for groundbreaking achievement in intellectual property law. I'd been nominated by the Harrington Tech CEO himself. But somehow, Rebecca was the one receiving it. What if, Daniel continued, the truth came out right before that award ceremony? What if every major legal publication, every attorney in that conference hall learned exactly who really won the Harrington case? How? He smiled. You're not the only one who's good at research, Charlotte. I'm an investigative journalist. Let me investigate. Daniel spent 3 weeks digging into everything, not just the Harrington case, but Rebecca's entire career. He found things I'd missed. Rebecca had done this before. In law school, she'd been part of a team that won a prestigious moot court competition. She'd accepted the award as team leader. But Daniel tracked down the other team members. All 3 confirmed that Rebecca had done minimal work, showed up for the final presentation, and then took credit. One of them, a woman named Jennifer Marks, told Daniel, "That's just who Rebecca is. She's brilliant at identifying winners and attaching herself to them. She doesn't do the work. She takes the credit." We tried to report it back then, but Rebecca's mother was a major donor to the law school. Nothing happened. He found more, a pattern going back years. Group projects where Rebecca contributed little but presented everything. Internships where she'd taken credit for other people's research. A resume that listed accomplishments that, when verified, turned out to be other people's achievements. She was a professional credit thief, and she'd gotten away with it her entire life because she was charismatic, confident, and protected by parents who refused to see her flaws. Daniel compiled everything into a detailed investigative article, 40 pages, fully sourced, documented, legally airtight. He pitched it to Legal Times, the most widely read publication in our industry. They wanted it. But they wanted one more thing. They wanted me to go on record, to attach my name to the accusations, to be willing to be interviewed, to stand by the evidence publicly. "If you do this," Daniel warned, "there's no going back. It will blow up your family. It will probably end your relationship with Rebecca forever. Your parents will lose their minds. The firm might retaliate. Your career might suffer in the short term. What's the alternative? Let her keep stealing? Let her get awards for my work? Spend the rest of my life being invisible while she shines?" "No," he said quietly. "The alternative is you walk away. You find a new job, you start fresh, you build something she can't touch. You let it go." I thought about that. Really thought about it. "I can't," I finally said. "I've spent 28 years letting things go. 28 years being the quiet one, the understanding one, the one who doesn't make waves. I'm done disappearing." "Then let's make sure they see you." The article published 3 days before the National IP Law Conference. The headline read, "The Sister Who Stole Success: How One Attorney Built a Career on Another's Work." The legal community is small, smaller than people realize, and gossip travels fast. Within 6 hours of publication, the article had been shared on every legal blog, every law firm's internal chat, every bar association email chain. My phone started ringing at 7 in the morning. Rebecca, then Mom, then Dad, then Charles Morrison, then colleagues, then reporters. I turned my phone off and let Daniel handle the press inquiries. The IP Law Conference organizers held an emergency meeting. They released a statement that afternoon. In light of recent revelations regarding the Harrington case attribution, we are postponing the Rising Star Award pending further review. By that evening, Morrison and Associates released their own statement. "We take allegations of credit misattribution seriously and are conducting a comprehensive review of the matter." My parents showed up at my apartment at 8 in the evening. I let them in because Daniel was there, and I knew he wouldn't let them steamroll me. Mom looked like she'd been crying. Dad looked furious. "How could you do this to your sister?" Mom said before she even sat down. "How could you humiliate her publicly like this?" "I told the truth," I said calmly. the truth that no one wanted to hear privately. "You've destroyed her career," Dad said. "Do you understand that? The entire legal community thinks she's a fraud." "She is a fraud. She stole my work and got promoted for it. She collaborated with you. That's how these things work. She changed internal documents to erase my name. That's not collaboration. That's theft." Mom shook her head. "You've always been jealous of Rebecca, always, since you were children. This is just that jealousy taken to a disgusting extreme." Something in me snapped. "Jealous?" I laughed, sharp and bitter. "You want to talk about jealousy? Let's talk about how you and Dad have treated us our entire lives. Let's talk about how Rebecca got everything and I got scraps. How every achievement I ever earned was minimized or ignored, while Rebecca's mediocre accomplishments were celebrated like she'd cured cancer." "That's not true," Mom said, but her voice wavered. "When Rebecca graduated high school, you threw her a party and gave her a car. When I graduated valedictorian, we went to Olive Garden and you spent the whole dinner talking about Rebecca's new boyfriend." "We celebrated you," Dad said. "When Rebecca got into Georgetown Law, you framed her acceptance letter. When I got into Columbia, top of the wait list, you said, 'That's nice,' and asked if I'd heard that Rebecca made law review." "You're exaggerating," Mom said. "When Rebecca passed the bar on her second try, you took her to Paris for a week. When I passed on my first try with a score in the 98th percentile, you sent me a congratulations text with a typo in it." They were silent. "My entire life," I continued, my voice shaking now, "I have been invisible to you. Everything I achieved, everything I accomplished, was never enough to make you see me the way you see her. And you've enabled her so thoroughly that she genuinely believes she's entitled to take credit for other people's work, because that's what she's been doing since childhood, and no one ever stopped her." "We love you both equally," Mom whispered. "No," I said. "You don't. You love Rebecca completely, and you tolerate me peripherally, and I'm done pretending that's okay." Dad stepped forward. "If you don't retract that article, you'll tear this family apart." The family was already torn apart. I just finally stopped pretending it wasn't. "Your sister is devastated." "Good. Maybe for the first time in her life, she'll understand what consequences feel like." They left. Mom crying, Dad silent and rigid with anger. Daniel held me while I shook, not quite crying, just trembling with the aftershock of finally saying what I'd held inside for 28 years. I didn't plan to go to the conference. I'd said what I needed to say. The truth was out there. But the conference organizers called me directly. They wanted to give me the Rising Star Award, the one that should have been mine from the beginning. "We've completed our review," the committee chair told me. "The evidence is overwhelming. You were the lead attorney on Harrington. Your work was groundbreaking. The award should go to you if you're willing to accept it." "Will Rebecca be there?" I asked. "She's withdrawn from the conference entirely." Part of me felt relief. Part of me felt something else. Not quite guilt, but close to it. "I'll be there," I said. The conference was massive. 2,000 attorneys from across the country. When they announced my name for the Rising Star Award, the applause was thunderous. I walked to the stage, accepted the crystal trophy, stood at the podium looking out at a sea of faces that finally knew my name and my work. I gave a speech. Not about Harrington, not about Rebecca, about what it means to be invisible in spaces that should celebrate you. About what happens when the people who should champion you choose to elevate someone else. About the cost of staying quiet and the courage it takes to speak truth even when it destroys relationships. For those of you who are the overlooked ones, the supporting characters in someone else's narrative, the ones whose work is stolen or minimized or erased, I said, looking directly into the camera that was live streaming the event. I see you. Your work matters. Your truth matters. Don't let anyone convince you that staying silent is the same as being professional. Sometimes the most professional thing you can do is refuse to disappear. The standing ovation lasted 3 minutes. Afterward, at least 50 people came up to me. Other attorneys, mostly women who'd had similar experiences, who'd watched men or more charismatic colleagues take credit for their work, who'd been told they were being oversensitive, difficult, not team players. One woman, tears in her eyes, squeezed my hand and said, "Thank you for being brave enough to fight back." I realized this wasn't just about me and Rebecca anymore. It was about every person who'd ever been made invisible by someone else's shine. Morrison and Associates fired Rebecca, not because of the article officially, but because once the truth came out, other instances of credit theft emerged. Junior associates started coming forward, paralegals, even partners who'd worked with her. She'd been doing this to everyone, not just me. She was hired by a smaller firm, took a massive pay cut, lost the partner title. I left Morrison too, started my own boutique IP litigation firm, took 3 senior associates with me, all women who'd felt undervalued at the old boys club. We're small, but we're building something good, something where credit goes to the people who earn it. My parents and I don't speak. Mom sends birthday cards, generic ones with no personal message. Dad hasn't contacted me at all. Rebecca tried to reach out once, about 3 months after everything exploded. An email. Long, rambling, not quite an apology. She said she never meant to hurt me, that she thought we were collaborating, that she didn't realize I felt erased, that maybe they were both wrong, but did we have to destroy our entire relationship over a professional misunderstanding? I didn't respond, because it wasn't a misunderstanding. And it wasn't just professional, it was a lifetime of being told my accomplishments were less important than hers. A lifetime of watching her take and take and take, while I was expected to gracefully accept whatever scraps remained. Daniel asked me once if I regretted it. The article, the public exposure, the family rupture. I thought about it honestly. No, I said. For the first time in my life, I'm not invisible. For the first time, people see my work and know it's mine. For the first time, I don't have to wonder if I'm crazy for feeling overlooked, because everyone can see it was real. Was it worth losing your family? I didn't lose my family. I lost the illusion that they were ever really mine to begin with. Last week, I got an email from a young woman, 24 years old, just starting her legal career at a big corporate firm. Her senior associate, a man 10 years older, had been taking credit for her research, presenting her work in meetings without acknowledging her, positioning himself as the brilliant strategist while she did all the actual labor. She'd complained to HR. They told her she was misunderstanding the mentorship dynamic. She'd talked to her parents. They told her to keep her head down and not make trouble. She felt invisible. "I read your article," she wrote. "I read about what you did, and I realized I don't have to accept this. I wanted to ask your advice. What should I do?" I stared at that email for a long time. Then I picked up the phone and called her. We talked for 2 hours. I walked her through documenting everything, building a paper trail, understanding her rights, knowing the risks. At the end of the call, she said, "I'm scared." "I know," I told her. "I was too. But being scared and being invisible are both painful. At least fighting back gives you a chance to be seen." She thanked me and hung up. I don't know what she'll decide to do, whether she'll fight or stay silent, but I know she has a choice now. She knows she doesn't have to disappear. And maybe that's the real story here. Not that I got revenge on my sister, though I did. Not that I exposed her fraud, though I did that too. The real story is that I stopped accepting invisibility as my permanent condition. I stopped believing that being overlooked was something I had to endure to keep the peace. I stopped shrinking to make other people comfortable. If you've made it this far, thank you for listening to my story. I know some of you are thinking I went too far, that I should have handled it privately, that destroying my sister's career and my family relationships was extreme. Others of you are thinking I didn't go far enough, that Rebecca deserved worse, that my parents should have faced more consequences. The truth is, I don't know if I did the right thing. All I know is that I couldn't live with being erased anymore. I couldn't watch someone else receive awards for my work while I smiled and stayed quiet. I couldn't keep being the good daughter, the understanding sister, the team player who never makes waves. Sometimes the price of being seen is losing the people who preferred you invisible. Sometimes justice looks like revenge because the two are separated by nothing more than perspective. Sometimes you have to burn down the version of yourself that everyone else wanted you to be so you can build the version you actually are. Was it worth it? Ask me on my good days, and I'll say yes without hesitation. Ask me on the hard days, when I see other families together and remember I don't have that anymore, and I'll tell you I'm still figuring it out. But here's what I know for certain. I would rather be alone and visible than surrounded by people who only see me when I'm useful. I would rather have a small firm with my name on the door than a partnership at a place that rewarded theft. I would rather have my self-respect than my family's approval. Because at the end of the day, you can't build a life on other people's validation. You can only build it on your own truth. And my truth is this: I'm Charlotte Hayes. I won the Harrington case. I earned that partnership. I deserve to be seen. And I will never, ever disappear again. So let me ask you, have you ever been made invisible? Have you ever had someone take credit for your work, your ideas, your achievements? Have you ever been the overlooked one while someone else shined? What did you do about it? Did you stay quiet to keep the peace? Did you fight back? Or are you still trying to decide? Leave your stories in the comments. I read every single one, and if this story resonated with you, if you've ever felt like the invisible sibling, the overlooked employee, the person whose work was stolen, hit that subscribe button. Because this is Revenge File Tales, and we tell the stories of people who refuse to stay invisible. We tell the stories of those who fought back. And sometimes we tell the stories of what it costs to finally be seen. Thank you for listening. This is Charlotte Hayes, signing off.